So today, we're jumping into Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. And the core idea here is that the biggest hurdle in your finances, it's not the math, it's all in your head. Let's get right to it. All right, so let's start with a really simple but kind of heavy question. Are you sick and tired of being, sick and tired? You know that feeling? Like you're on a financial hamster wheel, just running and running but not getting anywhere? That feeling, right there, that's the starting line.
So why do so many of us feel that way? Well, the first big idea we've got to get our heads around is that what our culture calls normal when it comes to money, it's actually a recipe for disaster.
I mean, just think about it for a second. What's normal? Normal is having a car payment, right? Normal is carrying around student loans for like decades. And normal is definitely swiping that credit card without even blinking. But here's the tough truth. This so-called normal is exactly what keeps people broke, stressed out, and totally stuck. Following the crowd here, it'll lead you straight off a financial cliff.
Okay, so if following everyone else is the problem, then where's the solution? You might think you need some Wall Street genius or a secret stock tip, right? Nope. According to this plan, the real work starts by looking in a very familiar place.
And boom, here it is. This is the absolute core of the whole thing. The biggest problem with your money is the person looking back at you in the mirror. But hey, that's also the good news, right? Because that same person is also the solution. It all comes down to taking ownership.
And this is what that really breaks down to. Check this out. Winning with money isn't about some crazy, complex formula. It's 80% your behavior. It's your habits, your discipline, your day-to-day choices. And only 20% is the head knowledge. I mean, let's be real. Most of us know we shouldn't overspend. The hard part is, actually not doing it.
So here's the bottom line. The actual math you need to get out of debt and start building wealth, it's simple, like grade school simple. The real challenge, the thing that feels like rocket science, is changing the habits that got you into this mess in the first place.
Right about now, you're probably thinking, yeah, sure, easy for some rich guy to say. But here's the thing. This advice doesn't come from some disconnected expert in an ivory tower. It comes from someone who went through let's just say, a massive financial failure and learned all this the hard way.
He actually calls it his PhD in DUMB. And I love that, right? It's his way of saying, look, I've made every stupid mistake in the book, so you don't have to. And it's that story, that failure, that gives all this common sense advice so much power.
So get this. By the time he was just 26, Dave Ramsey was technically a millionaire. He had this $4 million real estate portfolio. But it was all built on a house of cards. It was all debt. And when the banks called in their loans, the whole thing just collapsed. He lost everything, went completely bankrupt. He hit absolute rock bottom. And it was from that point that he knew he had to find a totally different way to do things.
And what he found wasn't some hidden secret of the super wealthy. Nope, he basically rediscovered what he calls God's and Grandma's way of handling money. You know, it's the stuff your grandparents probably tried to tell you all along. Work hard, save your money, be generous, and for the love of everything, stay away from debt. No tricks, no gimmicks, just basic principles that have literally always worked.
So all of this whole journey, builds up to the one core philosophy of the entire plan. It's all summed up in one powerful little phrase.
There it is. Seriously, this is the heart and soul of the Total Money Makeover. It's all about delayed gratification. It means you have to be willing to make some sacrifices now, sacrifices most people are willing to make, so that later on you can have a level of freedom that most people will never, ever experience.
So what does that choice actually look like today? Well, living like everyone else means that shiny new car with a huge monthly payment. It means eating out all the time and keeping those credit cards around for, emergencies. But living like no one else, that means driving a paid-for beater, packing your own lunch, and literally taking scissors to your credit cards. It's a daily choice to just not do what everyone else is doing.
And here's the payoff. This is why it matters. The long-term result for the people who just keep living like everyone else is, pretty much more of the same. They're still stressed, they're probably going to be working forever, and they have zero real freedom. But for the ones who chose that different, weird path, they get to have actual financial peace. They get to own their homes free and clear. They get total freedom to live and to give in ways they never even dreamed were possible.
Okay, so let's recap. If normal is broke, and winning with money means you have to do the exact opposite of what normal people are doing, what does that make you? Well, it makes you a little weird. And you know what? That is the entire point.
And this is something you really have to get in your head. When you start saying no to going out to dinner because it's not in the budget, or when you're totally happy driving a 15-year-old car, you're probably going to get some funny looks from friends and family. You have to be okay with looking weird to people who are stuck in that normal is broke trap. Their approval isn't the goal here. Your freedom is.
And really, that brings us right back to the beginning, to the final, most important question. We've laid it all out. The standard, normal way of doing things leads to nothing but stress and debt. So the only question left is the one you got to ask that person in the mirror. Are you ready to be weird?